Hey UTV Boondockers. So in today's episode, I wanted to talk a little bit about what I use when I film my videos and give you a little background on kind of where it all started, some of the settings that I'm using, etc., etc. And I don't have one of those really expensive fancy cameras you might be shocked to know. So let's get into the details. Stay tuned. All right, so the first thing I'd like to cover is the tripod. This is one that I picked up at an estate sale, got a really good price for it, and it's it's an MX 2000, and it appears to be a pretty decent model. I like some things I like about it is the fact that it compresses down. All these right here, these adjustable legs, will squish down to this, which is about 2 feet long, a little bit longer than that maybe. But you can, adjust it for uneven ground. It's very, like I said, very lightweight. It's got a nice handle on it if you want to move it around. This thing will crank up and down. It's got a lot of adjustments, so I can take this and bring it up and down. All the things, that a good tripod should have. This piece here is a quick release, so you can flip that out, pull that thing out, and so on. So overall, it's a pretty nice tripod. Do you need one of these? That depends on your filming style. I do some interviews. I do like what I just showed a minute ago, the intro of the video. I shot it from this. So they're nice to have. Now let's switch over to look at the main camera equipment that I use. Primarily, it's GoPro, right? And I have my first of three. I have three of these GoPros. And we talked a little bit about tripods and, of course, a handle. I mean, handles are pretty important. This one here extends out. It is an actual GoPro handle, but it's got a little tripod. So you can get some pretty neat shots with this. If you don't need a big tripod, you can just set it up. You can tilt this back and forth. And there's lots of accessories you can get for these GoPros, which is one of the reasons I really like them. I picked this up on Amazon, a little aluminum screw handle. Honestly, it looks kind of cool. The other one I had it chipped on the edge here, so I thought, hey, I'll just get one of these. They're nice. I got a thing for red and black. But anyhow, so of the three GoPros that I have, this is the 10. It's the newest one that I have. Also in here, I have a 5, which I purchased quite a while ago. Now, if you look at a side-by-side of these two, they're pretty similar, definitely in size. I'm pretty sure they both do 4K. This one has a screen on the back so you can see what's being recorded, which is nice, but it doesn't have one on the front. Some of the newer models, like this 10, do have that. This also has GPS capability, so you could draw a little line on the screen, or it'll automatically do that with GPS. I haven't used it yet, but it's got tons and tons of features. I set everything up for 60 frames per second, and I run 4K as much as possible. This other one too, by the way, is a screen in the back and the front, so you could see. This one is really nice if you're doing an interview or something, or you want to see what the camera sees. You can point it at you to make sure you're in the frame properly. One of the other accessories that I did purchase with this here is a max lens. You just twist this off and take it off, put the max lens on, and in short, it's kind of like a fisheye. The downside of it is that it degrades your quality to like 2.7K instead of a 4K. Probably not very noticeable to us, but so I do use it from time to time to make sure I get, a better range of view. But I love this camera. The batteries seem to be quite a bit better. And speaking of that, there's another battery you can get. It's a long life battery that I'm really thinking of doing. I typically bring 2 batteries for each of these. So in here, this is for the 5. There's 2 in there, and the GoPro has 1 extra here, the 10, and the other one, of course, is in it. As far as accessories, I usually carry some extra memory cards because if you're out there and you're in the middle of nowhere, it's really hard to find them. This is a hat bill clip. I've used it a handful of times. And some of the other stuff that I have is, a smaller tripod that folds all around. I forget where I even got this, but you can wrap it around things and connect it, which is really nice. The other handle I really like, and I use it for years, is this one. It's basically got foam on it. It's a lot like this, but it floats. So it's really nice if you do anything in the water, like say you're doing something in a lake or a pool, whatever. That's pretty nice. I do have a chesty mount, they call it, which just basically mounts in your chest and you can take some neat shots. I've used that a few times. This little guy is a little foam cover that goes over my 5. It helps with cutting down some of the wind noise. Hopefully you're not hearing it because I'm filming right now on my iPhone. Other than that, there's a handful of little attachments. If you go through and pick up some of these, you know, you end up acquiring things you may or may not use. But the nice thing about the GoPro platform is that you can get these at Best Buy, Walmart, I think Target. So accessories is not a problem. Finding them is not too bad. They're reasonably priced. It's more of an action camera. They're durable. You know, they can get dirty, they can get wet, and I don't really have to worry much about them, which is why I do it. Now, the third and last GoPro is one that I've had for well over 10 years now. I think it's just a Hero 3. I mount that on the dash, and this is one of the mounts that I use. It's just a sticky mount. But this is great for, you know, shots that go through the windshield, and I don't think the quality is up to 4K with this guy, but it does take decent shots. I think it's 1080. So in a pinch, I just reach up, hit the button, and record. There's no screens on this other than an LCD that shows you, you know, what mode you're in or what the battery's like, things like that. Very primitive, but it works really well, and the thing is really durable. The other mount that I have is right up here on this bar. Now, I can mount this thing a lot of different places, but it's got all kinds of angles. If I want to shoot a shot, you know, from inside the cab, or I could have it point out backwards. I can clip it onto this, the bumper. There's all kinds of places to do that. Well, now that we've covered the GoPro, the last thing, which is a recent piece of equipment I got, is this drone. I wanted to take a lot of the filming that I'm doing to the next level, and I thought a drone would be an excellent way to do that. And they're really fun. So this is a Mavic Air 2, and I do like the size. You can see it's about the size of my hand. Everything folds out. Won't be able to do that with one hand very easily, but it packs away really nice. It's got a nice gimbal built into it. That's just the cover that goes over top of it to keep it from flopping around. Some other nice features about the Mavic Air 2 is that it's basically a cinematic camera. It's made for taking videos. And it does have some collision avoidance bits on it, on the front, the back, these guys, and then on the underside. Right there, you'll also see it's got a light. So when it's way up in the sky, you can hit a button, the light will come on. So you can see where it's at, or if you're doing something at night, it illuminates pretty bright. So it does a pretty good job. The nicer cameras do have collision avoidance on the sides and the top. This does not. So the one caution when you look at drones, if you're looking at drones, is, you know, figure out what you want to spend and what features you want, because of course, the more features you get, the more you spend. I figured it was a good sacrifice for this to just get this model, and I'll just be careful when I'm going up and down, you know, mostly up because there's no sensors in the top. Don't bang into a tree. And when you're going sideways, don't bang into a tree. But the back, it'll cover all that for you. I did pick up what they call a fly more package. And in short, what that gets you is extra batteries, because these batteries are not cheap. So it gives you 2 batteries in addition to one that comes with it, and some extra propellers along with some other stuff. It does come with all the chargers that you need. I think it's got a plug out for a 12 volt, obviously a wall one. And the controller is pretty nice. This just pulls out right here. It's spring loaded. Again, kind of hard to do with one hand, but your phone will go in here, and they've got the cable in there to hook up to your phone. So that's pretty nice. So in short, this is what I'm going to be using for all my aerial views. And there is a Mavic Mini out that it's a little cheaper than this one and a little smaller, more lightweight, so you don't have to have such a big case. But that one looks pretty good. I haven't checked it out. I'll probably just stick with this guy for now. And that'll wrap up the camera equipment. So when I do my editing, I use Final Cut Pro, which is an Apple product. I got into the Mac platform. It's really nice. I was using iMovie, which is free, and that will get you by for quite a long time. But I wanted to get into some next level filming, which I'm learning more and more about, which is why I upgraded to Final Cut Pro. Now, my filming style typically is I'll pass out cameras when we go on our trips, and I try to ask everybody to do 30 seconds or less, because when you're editing these, editing takes a really, really long time. You know, it's fun. I love movies, so I can kind of think about some of the movies I've watched and kind of add some of the way they do transitions and cuts and so on. Again, it's a learning experience, but it is really fun. But it's not very fun if you have like a 2-minute clip or like 20-minute clip. Sometimes that happens, and you have to go through the whole thing and weed out what you don't want. I learned concepts about B-roll. Again, I'm learning, so if you guys know way more about this, you know, feel free to correct me. But the B-roll is basically stuff that they're filler clips. You know, so you have your main subject that you're filming, a certain situation, whatever, but you might have some other things that you film, and then you trim them and add them in to make a better experience overall. So those things I'm constantly toying with and learning about. But again, it's really, really fun. I enjoy making these. You'll notice some of my first videos that I posted out there of trips from 2017, 18, 19, gosh, I think even 20. But most of those were trips that I filmed with the GoPro, and they were for my buddies. That was it, just for my buddies. And then a couple years ago, I decided to start this channel to share some of these experiences and share some of the stuff that I do on the UTV with all of you. Now, when I did that, I kind of got rid of the source when I made those movies, so I had to edit them, and you'll notice all of them have techno music. Sorry if that's not your thing, but it was free music that I could find to put in there, and that's why it's that way. The newer videos that I'm making, you know, I have one that has 80s music, which I really love. I did throw that in there, you know, but what I'd like to start doing is letting people hear the motor more and try to do a little more voiceovers, let you know, when we're cooking, hear it cooking, things like that. Just make it more of an experience that you're actually there. And if you've seen the videos and you want to offer some suggestions, except for the techno music, again, sorry about that. That's the free music that I had at the time. But offer any suggestions, put them in the comments below. I do appreciate it. I read them all, I reply to them all, and I want to make this channel better. So again, all comments are welcome. Just try to be nice as much as possible. So anyway, that's it. I just wanted to show a little bit about what I use, how I film, the tools. I'm hoping that all of you may start making these YouTube videos and put them out there to share your experiences, because I love watching them too, you know, almost as much as I love making them. So if you like the video, please click that like button and consider subscribing. Hit the little bell for notifications so you don't miss anything. Have a great day, and thanks for watching.